It's Owen, and in today's video we're talking about automated sales for coaches. I'm going to tell you how I turned a €7 sale into an €800 per month client in under 30 days, completely automatically without lifting a finger. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to make automated sales in your coaching business. Then I'm going to flip the board around and I'm going to share the exact step-by-step process, the funnels, the ads, everything you need to get automated sales in your coaching business. If you're new to the channel, I've been helping online coaches to grow their business for the last 2 years. I've worked with over 100 coaches. I've taken many of those coaches from zero all the way up to 10, 15, and even 20K months. And this channel is to share everything that I know and everything that I'm doing with coaches on a daily and a weekly basis for you to take and implement into your business. So without further ado, let's get started. So story time. Back in August of last year, July of last year, 2025, I started building a low ticket funnel. And a low ticket funnel is basically a low ticket digital product. In my case, it was a €7 course, which was a pricing course. It was called the 4-Figure Offer Formula. And it was basically a €7 series of videos. It was from my client community, so it was highly valuable. And I put it on a landing page. So I created this product. It was, I think, 4 trainings, about 90 minutes total of content. There was templates for pricing. There was templates for creating a better offer. There was loads of really good resources, and it was very valuable. It was probably worth €100 at least, but I priced it at €7. Then I built a simple landing page, which was a video of me explaining what the product did. And within 30 days, I had somebody buy this product for €7 and come inbound asking to sign up with me and become a €800 per month client without me lifting a finger. Never met the guy before. He was from Australia. Sudhir, shout out if you're watching this video. Really great guy who I had never met before. And he emailed me asking for a call. And then on that call, he requested to work with me. So this was just crazy for me because before August of last year, I'd never made a sale that didn't involve me manually having a conversation with somebody and manually doing all of this work. And then all of a sudden, I got one of my highest paying clients and I'd done nothing. And now, of course, I hadn't done nothing. I'd done a lot of work before that, and that had led to this system working. So let's just move to what we actually need for automated sales for coaches. And how can this happen? How can we go from having to message people, chase them around the DMs, constantly following up, booking sales calls, doing all of this work, boosting posts, hoping that we get followers, sending them a new follower message, getting ghosted? How can we move from that to having somebody pay us for something and then automatically come the whole way through and join our coaching program? Well, we need 3 core things. And the first thing that we need is traffic. Now, traffic is just eyeballs, okay? This is going to be eyeballs. Put a smiley face, right? We need eyeballs. And we need people to actually see our stuff. In this case, a €7 offer. So we need to figure out how can we get people to buy a small thing from us. And the first step in automated sales is having something small for people to buy. Because if I try and sell somebody an €800 per month coaching program and they're a stranger and they don't know me, the likelihood of them buying that is almost zero. If I offer them a ton of value for €7 or $7, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to risk this, particularly when, if we build a good offer, we can de-risk this by making it refundable within 7 days. So effectively they're paying €7 that they can get back, and worst case scenario, they get their money back and they don't lose anything. So you can basically de-risk this. But once somebody actually buys this, then they're going to start to move through to this second phase, which is consumption. But to get traffic, we need to basically pay for it, right? Because what are our options? How can we get eyeballs? We can do organic. And if you have done a lot of organic content, there's probably 2 buckets. There's people who've done organic content and blown up and have thousands and thousands of followers, and every time they post something, they get tons of people asking for their stuff. but they are the minority, and you're more likely to be in the group of people who has done organic quite a bit. You've posted a lot, you post every day, but no one really sees your stuff, no one really asks for it, you don't get a lot of followers, and you feel a little bit stuck. So organic for most people is not reliable. Okay, I think this is a fair statement. It's not a reliable way to get traffic to your page. So what other methods do we have? We can connect with people, right? So we can send Instagram follower requests or requests on whatever platform we can connect. But realistically, we're going to have to do a lot of connections to get people to see our stuff. So this is not really ideal. And the third option that we have for traffic is we have paid ads. Now, if you've watched me for a while, or you watch my old channel, you will know that 2 years ago I was against paid ads, and I was wrong. I've changed my tune on that entirely. In fact, I couldn't have been more wrong, I have to say, because paid ads are the accelerator. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't jump off, don't click off the video. You're going, Owen, I don't have a budget for ads. I don't know how to run them. I don't want to spend money on ads and lose it. I hear you. We're not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to explain what we are going to do. But you do not need to lose money on ads, and you do not need to invest thousands on ads, you know, crazy money. You certainly don't need to lose thousands of euros or dollars on ads. You do not need to do that. So let's assume that our most reliable way of getting traffic, okay, is paid ads, because yes, we have to pay for it, but we can decide who we show our content to. We can decide what action we want them to take. Paid ads is the most reliable form of getting traffic to your offer, okay? Now, once we get traffic, the thing that needs to happen in order for somebody to come through here, right, and become a client of this magnitude, they need consumption, okay? They're not going to watch a 60-second video and then DM you to become a client. It just doesn't work like that, okay? Anyone who watches a lot of your content, you know, there's a lot of schools of thought on this. One idea is the 7-11-4 principle from Google's research, and it basically states that people need 7 hours in 11 touch points, I'll call that TP, in 4 different locations to trust you enough to buy, okay? So if somebody is going to buy your high ticket program or your coaching program, ideally they should have spent 7 hours consuming your content, 11 touch points, so that's 11 different pieces of content. So maybe they've read 3 emails, they've read 3 Instagram posts, they've consumed 2 YouTube videos, and then, you know, the remainder is whatever the different touch point is. You know, maybe they've joined a free group or a free community or something that you've run, but they need touch points, different types of touch points, and those touch points need to be in 4 different locations ideally. So they need to see you in lots of different places, right? The 11 different touch points is, you know, they've consumed your reels and everything else, and the locations that you show up, maybe you show up on social media, Instagram specifically, YouTube, maybe you show up in ads, maybe you show up on a blog somewhere, right? And that's 4 locations. Now, you might be thinking, but Owen, I'm nowhere close to this. Don't worry, don't panic. There's other ways that we can get people to consume, and the 7-11-4 principle is just a principle. It doesn't mean that you have to have people doing all of these things. It just means that consumption is really, really important to build know, like, and trust, and to actually demonstrate your ability to solve a problem for somebody. So once we get traffic, we now need to get people to consume. And the best way to get people to consume something is to get them to buy something, okay? Something small that has a consumption element. Because if somebody pays for something, they actually do the work. This YouTube video, it's free. I'm not charging anyone for it. Not that many people are going to watch it because it's free. I guarantee you if people paid €50 to watch this video, they would all watch the video because they've paid for it. Okay, so we need to basically have people making an investment before they're really going to consume something, and before they're going to actually take it seriously. So the best way to get people to consume is to get them to purchase something with a consumption element. So this could be a €7 digital course that you've created. And no matter what niche you're in, maybe you're in the health and fitness niche, maybe you've got a 4-part course on training, nutrition, lifestyle, and sleep, okay? and they can buy it for €7, they consume it all, and it helps them solve their problems. It builds know, like, and trust, and they actually consume it because they paid for it and they value it, okay? So the next step from consumption is the actual marketing element, because if we just get people to consume, but we don't think about the psychological journey that your client is going on, then consumption itself doesn't necessarily do the job that we want it to do. So what we need is, between this €7 product and this inbound client asking to sign up at €800 per month or whatever your pricing is, our marketing has to take place here in between, okay? Our consumption and our marketing both have to take place in between these purchases, and we need to drive traffic here, okay? So we need to get traffic to this first purchase. When people make this purchase, we need them to consume, and we need to be conscious of what they are consuming, which is our marketing, okay? Stay with me. This is going to make sense when I flip the board over on the other side. So basically, we need to know the journey that somebody takes, and we need to know the steps / problems we solve for them. Okay, so we need to know the journey somebody takes psychologically to become a client, and we need to know the steps and the problems that they need to solve along the way. And we'll look at what that looks like on the other side. These are the three things that we need for automated sales, right? If we cannot get traffic, we don't have people seeing it. If we get people seeing it, but they're not actually consuming it, then they're never going to trust us and know us and like us enough to buy. And if we are not marketing throughout the creation of this process, then people will just consume and then not take the next step. They won't reach out, they won't do something to actually join our program. So I want to just stop there and segue onto the problem with organic. And this is coming from somebody who has done 2,000 organic social media posts. I've been online since 2019, and I was organic's biggest proponent for a long time, and I didn't like paid ads. I was confused by them. I thought that they would cut into margins, and that was all false beliefs and limiting beliefs that really were probably covering up the fact that I was scared to step into advertising. I was scared to potentially lose money. But the problem with organic, firstly, is just volume, right? Like, unless your posts are absolutely blowing up and you're getting hundreds or thousands of followers, you probably don't have the volume to make automated sales. You need a lot of people seeing your stuff. To get one sale, you probably have to get 100 people to see your page, right? You need to get 100 people to click onto the landing page that has your option to buy something, to get one sale, maybe two, maybe three, depending on how good you are. That number can go higher, but if you're watching this video, realistically, you're going to need about 100 people to get 1, 2, or 3 sales. You need volume, and organic is unlikely to give you that volume, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is platform psychology, okay? So the psychology of the person on the platform, how people are behaving. This behavior is maybe a better way to think about this, but when people are on social media, they're there to escape, they're there to entertain themselves, they're there to flick, they're there to scroll, they're not locked in. And although they are consuming, the psychology of the way that they're consuming, unless it's something longer form like this, which for most of you, most of the consumption is probably happening on a short form platform like Instagram, the platform psychology is not the psychology that you want. It is not the psychology that drives buying decisions. It's the psychology of scroll, escape, and the behavior of scroll, escape, read or watch content from various different creators, when really, if we can sell something, we want people to be in a headspace of learning and developing. So this is why we actually want to sell something that solves a problem, where we can deliver the solution in an isolated way, where people are not on a platform that is dragging their attention 100 different ways. The other thing is, with your organic content, you have to take people off the platform to get to a digital product, right? If you've got some sort of a product that you want to sell as a first step, and we'll break down what that looks like, you need to get people off the platform and onto some sort of a landing page or a sales page, okay? And if people are on Instagram and you're doing organic content, you can't link to a page. You can't link off Instagram with a reel. You can't have a link in your Instagram organic reels that links to a landing page or a web page. So people have to actually go and find it, or you have to get it to them some other way. Maybe they have to comment on the reel and then you send them the link, and it's messy. Whereas with paid advertising, you can get them directly off the platform with a click of a button. So that is why platform psychology, and just also like behavior, and also like the way that the platform is set up, I think actually it would be better to just say platform limitations, because there is psychology limitations here, there is behavior limitations, and there is technical limitations where you can't take somebody easily off the platform. So let's call that platform limitations instead. And then the final part of this is sequencing, okay? So when it comes to marketing, the sequence of things that people consume is really, really important. So on this YouTube channel, you know, you can watch this video and find it useful, and then you can go and click to my profile and binge some of the other videos that are also going to be useful. But I have no way of controlling what order you watch those videos in, right? So you can go and you can click one video from 3 months ago, and then you can click a video from last week, and I can't control the sequencing. And that means with organic content that people are just consuming all sorts of random bits, and they're not actually going on a marketing journey. This is the problem with just relying on your organic and not actually taking people off the platform into a sequence journey that you have created that brings them through steps and solves problems and also doubles up as your marketing. So it's really, really important to know that automated sales don't really work without some sort of paid advertising. But we have got some pros to low ticket. So what I'm talking about here is a low ticket funnel. It's basically a low ticket product which you sell on the front end. And the coolest thing, wait for your mind to be blown, about a low ticket funnel is it is possible to have free advertising. Imagine having free advertising. Imagine you could just promote for free on Facebook to thousands of people every day. How much easier, or on Instagram, how much easier would it be to get clients if you didn't have to create organic content and you could just turn on ads for free and get really good at running ads? Well, with a low ticket, one of the pros is that it is possible to have free advertising, and we'll look at how that can happen on the other side. Another thing is that it qualifies buyers, okay? So a lot of people run ads or they do content and they say, hey, you know, DM me for my free resource, or comment this word for a free resource, and it's fine, it can work. But the problem is, it's not qualifying buyers. It's not qualifying people who actually have a budget and are willing to spend money. Because if somebody buys something here, right, something small, it proves to me that they really want to solve the problem, they're committed to solving a problem, and they have a budget to solve the problem, right? So they're already in motion, they're already qualified as being much, much higher value to me as a business owner than just someone who looks for something free, because a buyer is more likely to buy again. And a person who's looking for something for free, the majority of those are going to be time wasters. They're looking for something for free, they don't want to pay for a solution. And this is going to just ensure that you're really only dealing with pretty well qualified buyers. Now, not everyone is going to be your perfect fit, of course, but at least they're buyers. At least they're people who are willing to take the credit card out or the debit card out and make a purchase. The third benefit or pro here is, of course, the sequencing. So with your ads, it's very easy to set up things in the right sequence so that people consume the right content at the right time. And Facebook ads themselves will actually arrange your ads. The Andromeda update, which you may have heard of, don't worry if you haven't. Basically, Facebook will arrange your ads. If you've got 4 ads, it will mess around and it will arrange your ads like a little mini funnel. So they will see which is the first best ad to show them, and then the second and the third and the fourth to get the sale. So Facebook can actually sequence your ads for best performance. And then also, once you've actually got somebody to buy your low ticket product, the delivery of the product can also be sequenced so that they're buying something that solves a problem but also acts as marketing, and they're consuming it in the right steps, so that by the time they've gone through it, the next natural step is to inquire about your core program or service. Okay, now are there cons? Of course. This sounds too good to be true. On magic pill, passive income, none of that bullshit. This is challenging, and this is honestly the model that excites me the most. It's the thing that I've had the most fun with. I've ran a few different funnels over the last 12 months, and this is the one that I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is an incredible opportunity. But there are some cons. The skills required to run a funnel like this, you need skills. You need the marketing skills, you need the offer creation skills, you need the advertising creation skills. There's a bunch of skills that you need. You need to really understand your sales and your marketing and your brand and your message and all of that stuff. And you really need to understand your sales process. Now, obviously, if you don't have those skills, you can get those skills by working with someone like me, and I will just share the skills that I have with you, and then you can get these results. But if you're working on your own, this is a big con. There's a lot of skills required. I have hundreds of books behind us there on the shelf, many on sales and marketing. I've read them all over and over and over again. I've done this for 8 years. I've acquired the skills. You're going to have to put in time to acquire the skills. But if you have the skills, amazing model. The other thing is, of course, there's a budget required. But Owen, you said free advertising. Yes, but we need to get started, and we need to be realistic. You should not be losing thousands and thousands of euro, but you should be able to go into something like this and have a budget of ideally €1,000 just to get you started, and be able to spend that budget and not need to make it back immediately. Now, you should make it back, or a good chunk of it back, but you should not go in needing to make it back immediately. If you're going in with your last €100, it's probably not the model for you. But if you're sitting on a little bit of cash and you're ready to actually build a business that works without you and make automated sales, you'll need some skills, and you'll need €1,000. Now, let me show you how it all works, because right now you're probably thinking, this sounds cool, but I still don't really know how it works, so bear with me. We have got the other side of the whiteboard, okay? So here we have the process, step by step. Now, we basically have 3 elements, okay? We've got the advertising, the paid ads on the front end. Okay, these are like the first thing. We've got the front end, and we've got the back end. So let me just break down one by one what these things are, and then I'll show you the sequence. So paid ads, the goal of paid ads is very simple. The goal of paid ads is to get attention, right? Get somebody's attention and get them to take an action. Attention plus action, okay? Because if we just get their attention, but there's no call to action, then it's pointless, right? So we need to get their attention, and we need to get them to take an action, right? And often, if you're creating content, you probably have a call to action that says, follow my page, or DM me for more info, or whatever. The action that we want them to take is we want them to go to our front end. And the front end is basically the sales page. And if you're like, oh, but I don't know what a sales page is. Yes, you do. You've been on many sales pages. If you've ever bought anything online, you've been on a sales page. If you bought a ticket to a concert, if you bought clothes online, you've been to a sales page. It's that page that tells you why you should buy the thing, and it has a little box that you put your details in and you buy it, and that's it. And sometimes they have a video on them, and sometimes they don't have a video on them. And often they might have a few different things you can buy. When you get to checkout, there might be a couple of boxes you can tick to buy some more stuff, to add some things on. We've all been through these 100 times, and they're not actually that confusing at all. So get rid of the myth that it's too technical for you or it's too confusing. Honestly, anyone can do this, especially with AI. You can literally whip this up with a voice note, most likely. But your front end is basically your small product, and upsells, which we'll cover, which are other small products, just to give you more to sell. And then your back end is your core coaching offer. So most people are selling, a core coaching offer already. Maybe it's a 12-week program, and that's, your big kind of higher ticket offer. Now, basically, these all have different functions, okay? So the paid ads, maybe you've got some little videos of you talking to the camera. Maybe you've got some talking heads. Maybe you've got some text based ads. Okay, so you've basically got, you know, different advertisements, different pieces of creative. And if you're like, but I've never made ads, on, it's just content. It's just a picture with some text on it. It's just a video that you talk to the camera. Honestly, it's not complicated. It's literally the content you're already making. You just make it and you run it as an ad, okay? Now this ad drives to the landing page. So when you create an ad, you can put a link for, if somebody clicks on the ad, where do I want them to go? And firstly, the ad should get attention, and then that action is, it drives them to this landing page. And again, a landing page, a sales page, whatever you want to call this, this is basically a little video of Owen saying, hey guys, here's why you should buy my product. And in my case, it is the 4-figure offer formula. Okay, so if you're currently charging 100 euros, 200 euros, $100, 150, $200 a month, this product is going to help you stop that, and it's going to help you to sell 1 to 2K coaching programs. Okay, so my product solves a small specific problem. Okay, 1 to 2K coaching programs. That's basically what it's helping people do, and it is €7. Okay, and there is a big buy now button down here. Now, one thing that I can do is, there's a buy now button here, but I can also do plus €27, okay, if you tick this little box, okay? So on that page, there's a €7 product, and when people come to buy, there's also a little box that they can tick that says, by the way, if you liked this product, you can also buy the offer launcher. So you've now built your offer. You'll build your offer with this product. Now you can buy the offer launcher, which will help you to launch the offer. It's just an extra 27, and you'll get a stack more videos and a stack more resources. And then people will often buy the 7 and the 27. So I can actually make a little bit more money on this front end, okay? Now, the reason that we don't just sell the €7 thing is because if we're running ads, we need to increase the AOV, which is the average order value, right? We need to get more people to buy more stuff, because otherwise we end up losing money on the ads. But if we can get people to buy the €7 thing and then add on the €27 order bump, where they can add a little bit of extra stuff and extra value, but it's optional, some people will take this, and that means that although we're selling a €7 product, we're actually collecting more cash, and we're selling a second product when people hit the page, okay? And then once they've bought this, they have now registered themselves as a lead, obviously, and they will receive access to their videos and their resources and all of the stuff that they have bought. But before we give them access to that, it's going to go to another page that says, hey, you've bought the 4-figure offer formula. I would love to help you implement the 4-figure offer formula in the 4-figure offer sprint, for example. Okay, this is just an example. And this is maybe a 4-week sprint offer. Okay, and it might be 197. Okay, so now we've basically sent people to buy one digital product, but when they buy the first one, they now get offered a kind of higher level digital product. And we can add multiple pages like this, but just for now, we'll keep it nice and simple. You can add pages where if the 197 is too much, you can offer them a €97 version for 2 weeks or something along those lines. So there's lots of other pages that we can add, and these funnels can have multiple pages. But very basically, we're solving the next problem. So once they build the offer, the next problem that they have is, how do I sell it? Okay, so we sell the offer builder here, or the offer launcher. Now they know how to build and sell the offer, but what do they do the rest of the time? Well, we're going to do an implementation sprint over 4 weeks where you know what to do in week 1 to week 2, week 3, week 4. So you're not just launching the offer once, but you actually have a monthly sales cycle to go through. Okay, and then finally on the back end, they get made the core offer to come and join your program, which let's say it's 2K or 3K program or whatever it is. In my case, this was an 800 per month program, okay? That was my core offer at the time. So basically, some people are going to come through here, they're going to give us their email and they're going to get through to buy the thing, and then they're going to say, actually, do you know what, I don't want this, okay? And what's going to happen is they're going to be added into an email sequence. And it doesn't matter what they buy, if they give us their email, they'll be added into an email sequence. If they don't buy, right, they go into an email sequence. If they do buy, they go into a slightly different email sequence, which also sells them on the core offer. So let's say somebody comes along, they put in their details, they're about to buy, and then they go, do you know what? I don't need this. I have electricity bill coming out next week. That's fine, they don't buy, but now their email will be emailed with an email sequence saying, hey, you didn't buy, just checking in, are you still interested? Here's the link if you'd like to buy again. And it will make them all of these offers, and then eventually it will automatically invite them to come and join your core coaching program, okay? And that will happen for the people who didn't buy and the people who did buy. And obviously if people have bought different things, there will be slightly different email sequences just to reflect what they've actually purchased, so that, you know, they're not getting the wrong emails. If somebody has bought access to this, well then they're going to get an email that says, well done on buying this. If they don't buy this, they're not going to get that email. So that's kind of all the technical setup. But basically, we've got all of these different stages, and they can be a lot more. And if somebody buys this front end offer, or even if they just give us their email, they will end up getting made automatic offers through the email sequence. And a small percentage of those people will convert into clients. Now, typically, this will convert at 3%, although it can go a lot higher if you're good at this. But this will convert at about 3%. This order bump, I don't actually know what the average, but for me, this order bump was converting at 66%, which is crazy. I think that's a lot higher than average. I think typically it's probably 20 or 30%, but correct me if I'm wrong and let me know in the comments. But my order bump is converting at 66%, which is very high, which means out of every 3 people who buy the €7 thing, 2 of them are also buying the €27 thing. And what that actually means is that I could be breaking even on my ad spend. Okay, so let's say the goal here, let's go to each element. The goal of this first step is to get attention and to get people to take the action. Now, let's say they take the action and they go to the front end, which is the digital products. The goal of the front end, okay, so the front end goal is customers, create customers and leads, okay, because customers are just leads but more valuable leads. Create customers and leads, but also break even on ads spend, okay? So if I spend €50 in a given day, I should earn €50 in a day, okay? And what that actually means is that, yes, I'm not making a lot of money from these products, but I'm getting free customers and leads, okay? And let's say I'm spending €50 a day and I'm getting 10 leads, but I'm offsetting the cost of those leads with my digital products. Imagine getting 10 new leads every day for free, right? Before you even offer them, you're getting 10 new leads who have bought something, who are getting deeper into your world, who are consuming, and that can effectively happen for free. Now, it probably won't happen for free immediately, because realistically, you're going to have to improve your funnel and make it better. It's possible to be profitable. Lots of people are profitable on funnels like these, and the people who are profitable on funnels like these are doing crazy numbers, because as soon as you're profitable and you're putting in $50 or €50 and you're getting €70 back, well then you just keep putting money in, and it grows and grows and grows. But the goal of this front end is to break even on the ad spend and to get you free customers and leads, people who are consuming your stuff. And in the back end, the goal of the back end, this is for profit and clients, okay? So imagine you have 10 leads coming through. That's 70 leads a week, because this works all the time. When you're off on the weekend, when you're relaxing, it still works. If you had 70 leads coming through each week, and there were free, or they were costing you a very small amount per lead and they were consuming your stuff, how much easier would it be to make sales and grow your coaching business and make profits? And that is basically how you can make automated sales in your coaching business. Now that's the overview. There's a ton of other stuff. Obviously, every single level of this has levels and levels to it. This is the model that I am going to be running from here on out, because I've played around with a lot of funnels and this is the one that's most exciting. For me, I can't wait to get stuck into this, and I hope that it was valuable for you. If it was, hit subscribe, join the channel. I share all the stuff that I'm doing all of the time, and I'll see you in the next video.